Yo, what it is, man? It's your boy Young Spider Man, and we back with another episode of Check Down, where we check down on the best available waiver wire pickups of the current week. And this week, week 4, man, is a doozy. Injuries, replacements. Hey, we got the answers for you right here on Check Down. But first, a word from our sponsors. Football is money. Whether you're a diehard fan, fantasy manager, or just in it for the drama, we're here every week to bring you the action and analysis you crave. Plus, don't miss a beat. Follow Football is Money on all social platforms for extra updates and live game insights. Join the team, subscribe today, and let's make every game count on Football is Money. All right, man. Hey, you know what it is. Football is money. If you're looking for parlay help, fantasy football help, or just want to know how to gamble and what's the right plays, how to look at scheduling and match it up and line it up to your picks, footballismoney.com is where you need to go. Footballismoney.com. That's where the answers are. All right, man. On to our next segment of our show here, man. It's like I said, it was a doozy of a week. I mean, injury upon injury upon injury. And that's a part of fantasy football. You guys got to understand it. You got to make sure that you are prepared for all injuries. You got to have handcuffs. You got to have contingency plans. You got to have things set up in your mind strategically to put you in the best position to win. You understand me? So the first person that I got up that was injured, unfortunately, and I told you guys this last week if you'd have watched the episode, James Conner, man. A doozy. Did we see this coming? Did us fantasy players see this coming? Of course, 100% we saw this coming. That's why you activate Trey Benson. I told you guys this. Trey Benson is the guy you need to plug in and play right now. He's going to give you, the same amount of points I feel that James Conner did. Because while James Conner was on the field, he gave you the same kind of points. When they shared the load, they got the same, equal amount of points, minus the touchdowns here and there that, Conner got. But now it's all my boy Trey Benson. And Trey Benson's going to eat. James Conner's not coming back. I don't know who the backup is. I'm not sure who he is. And when it gets cloudy like that, you can't really trust a backup to this here offense, this run game. This run game is no longer top tier, and it's not, got a rocky start of the season, man. So first injury, James Conner, sad. He has an ankle injury. I think someone bent his leg underneath someone else's leg, and then someone else fell on that, and it's a wrap. That's all it takes, man. Season over with, man. Will he come back next season the same? Probably not, but we'll check out and we'll see next year. But for now, Trey Benson, that's who you need to plug in on that waiver wire. Moving on, man, we're gonna go and check out my boy Najee Harris, formerly running back of the Pittsburgh Steelers, now was a backup for Amarion Hampton. But as you can see, he has a hamstring injury. Actually, he doesn't. He has Achilles injury. I don't know why that's on there. He has an Achilles injury. That's a mistake on my part. He has Achilles injury, and he's out of there. Non-contact injury. He was bursting off into speed, and unfortunately that burst into speed caused him to tear his Achilles. So he's out for the entire season. Activate Amarion Hampton on all forms. Activate this guy because he's going to eat like a skinny kid, smooth out of some kind of third world country or something. He's going to eat. All right, moving on, man. My boy Mike Evans. Dang. Now, he actually has a hamstring injury. He's going to be out 3 to 4 weeks, and it's a sad day in fantasy football because he was Mr. Dependable, for a while there, he didn't really get going, I feel, in 3 games. So when he comes back, I feel like he's gonna have like revenge on his heart. He's gonna want to perform to the best of his abilities. So 3 to 4 weeks, put him in the gulag for now. You know what I'm saying? We go put him and stash him away for a little bit, and we go activate him, Buka. You know. And I got other people you should probably activate in place of him, but that's gonna be later on the show. Let's move on, man. We're gonna go to Chicago, and we're gonna check on a rookie, man. Unfortunately, we have a rookie tight end coming out of Chicago by the name of Colston Loveland, and he's not in Loveland right now. He's in Hurtland because he hurt his hips, and he's gonna be out for 2 weeks. It's not a long time, but you have replacements for him. You got Komet. Komet is very dependable. He's a vet, so plug in Cole Komet if you have him, if you're smart enough to have both of them, as one is a stash, one is not. But if you're not in deep leagues right there where you don't have a deep bench, then just be patient, store him. Let's see what he does when he gets back. Week 3, you know what I'm saying? He got hurt week 3. Come on, guys. And next, my boy, dog, my man out of Dallas, CeeDee Lamb, bro. First of all, man, you gotta know what you like. The play calling of Schatzheimer, whatever his name is, Martin Schatzheimer. I can't pronunciate that, but my man's had my man in a running back formation, carrying the ball in the backfield, trying to break away for a touchdown, bro. That's how he got hurt, and that's not good, man. You put your best receiver in the game for him to get hurt. Come on, bro. He's not a running back. He doesn't need to be running into 300-pound defensive linemen and linebackers coming straight for him like a torpedo, bro. It's not gonna turn out good for him, bruh. Like, let's calm that down. But out for 2 to 3 weeks, a good replacement for him would be Pickens. Jordan Pickens, he has to pick it up, bro. He has to put his big boy pants on, and he has to go out there and perform like a #1 receiver. Like he wanted this. If you really wanted this, like you've been saying, bro, go out there and eat. I have him on my fantasy team as my #2, but now he's not, he's my #1. So George Pickens, if you have George Pickens, you just came up. You came up like if you were someone who had James Conner and Trey Benson and you stashed them. You came up, bro. But unfortunately, he's out. We're going to move on to New York. New York. My boy Tyrone Tracy is out, man. 4 to 7 weeks. Do we care? Nah. We don't care, bro. We don't care that Tyrone Tracy is out. He needs to trade him, bro. Or just sit him down and just cheer, bro, because that boy Scatterboo is amazing, dog. I'm sorry, bro. I've been high on this rookie for a long time, bro. Like, since week 1, I've been telling you, Scatterboo is that man, bro. He took that role. Like taking, candy from a baby, literally. He took that role. He runs like a beast. He reminds me of like the Tasmanian devil, if you will. He's like a Tasmanian devil of a player because the way he runs into contact, the way he yells, and like he wants it. You know what I mean? Tyrone Trace, yeah, not as much. He's more of a hit the edge, run out of bounds if somebody goes after my ankles type of guy. Not somebody you really want on your team. So if you have Scatterboo, you just came up like, again, someone who has James Conner and stash Trey Benson. You should have had both of these guys. You should have never trust this guy in the first place, bro. If you know about Scatterboo, you know. If you know, you know. All right, man. So those were all of the injuries of the current week, all the notable injuries. You know what I mean? Some of those were things that you knew were coming. Some of those were things that you didn't know was coming. But at the same time, bro, again, you want to be prepared for all situation and all things. If you are not prepared for all situations and all things, you will be looking high and dry, and you'll be out there trying to skate. But some more waiver wire pickups that you can replace these guys that are injured with. That's what I was thinking, So bear with me here, man, on my picks. Like these picks, some of them are the obvious picks, right? Some of them are going to surprise you guys. I don't really care because I know how to play the game of fantasy football. You take chances and you take the picks who get the most receptions, targets, receptions. If they're receivers, if they're running backs, who gets enough opportunities to run the ball. And what do they do with it when they run the ball? When you see it on the field, people look at numbers a lot, but with football, sometimes you got to read in between the numbers. Sometimes when you watch the game, you see what's happening. So I'm just saying, bro, you got to stay cognizant of what's going on. Stay focused, people. Stay focused. All right, so the first individual was a wide receiver. Now, this wide receiver, over the last couple of weeks, hasn't really performed, like a top receiver, but this last week he went off. He went off like a rocket going into space. And that's that boy, Trey Tuck. You know what I mean? Right now he's sitting at 52.70 fantasy points, man. And I think they go against the Bears this weekend. You know what I mean? The Raiders versus the Bears. Should be a good game. Should be one of those games where both quarterbacks will eat. And I'm thinking Trey Tucker is going to be one of those wide receivers, that is going to eat. Let's just be honest here, man. He has to be the number one out there. When I think about who's the number one receiver out in Las Vegas, I think about Trey Tucker. To be honest with you, Genty, he's not really eating like he should, but mark my words, week 4 or 5, I feel like most of the rookies are going to come to age. You're going to see a lot of, bang for your buck, you know what I mean, coming up soon, because I think a month is enough for anybody's mind and body to be acclimated to the system of a professional setting, So I would say Trey Tucker, pick him up if he's available. He's probably not available, but in most of leagues right now, he's available. So go on that waiver wire, scoop him up. Next, man, we're gonna go to Cali, man. We going back to Cali. Know what I'm saying? And we go. No, that's not Cali. I'm sorry. Pause. We're going to Florida. We're gonna go holler at my boy Kodak Black while we out there, man. Ollie Gordon the second, you feel me? 12.40 fantasy points. Now, is he one of those high priority type of situations? No, he's a stash player. He's someone you want to put on your bench, right? You want to sit him on your bench. You want to make sure he stays there. I mean, how long he stays there, I don't know. You make sure he stays there until he develops. Now, you could take a chance on him if you want to. I wouldn't do so. Oh, hold on. I'm not doing no endorsements here. I wouldn't do so, you know what I mean? So I would keep him exactly where he is on the bench for now until he turns into that Raheem Mostert type of player that, we've come in love. Because it's exactly what they're going to do out there. Because Miami they're not unique. They're not creative with anything. So, I mean, they keep doing the same things with the same plays and the same people. So, I don't know what they expect, but I think Miami's going to get blown up eventually, right? And pause. I don't mean like in a terroristic type of way. I mean like the team is going to separate, like scatter. Everyone's going to scatter doing their separate things because, let's be real. Miami's not that good, man. Every year they're not that good. They're like up and down, sort of like the Cowboys, really. You know what I'm saying? It's really hard to watch, but it's the sad truth, man. But Ollie Gordon the second's going against the Jets this weekend. The Jets, they might have Tyrod Taylor again out there, or Justin Fields. It really doesn't matter to me. I don't trust anybody on any side of this ball. But if there was a waiver wire pick up, I would pick up Ollie Gordon the second from Miami. Moving on over, man, we're going to check on my boy, Jeremy McNichols. Now, Jeremy McNichols is another player that's not high, right, on the priority list. He's one of those players that you got to sit there and wait for him to see how they're going to use him. As you saw last weekend, and he got a touchdown, right? So, I mean, he's developing into one of those Austin Eckler type of players, like a utility knife. He, catches passes and it can also rush, so he's one of those people you might want to look for if you couldn't get Trey Benson and you had James Conner or something and you're like out there desperate. But you shouldn't really be desperate right now. You should have people to back up people that get hurt at this point. You got to think about that when you do drafts. I'm just saying, man. But I don't have much to say about them. They play against the Falcons. Y'all saw the Falcons last weekend. I don't think the Falcons could play that bad again. Like, that's crazy to even think about. They didn't even score a touchdown. It's like, what is happening here? You got steamrolled. Like, the definition of steamrolled, like if you look up the definition of steamroll, you'll see a picture of that game. Like, you feel me? I'm just being honest, you know what I mean? So, Jeremy McNichols, man, running back out of the Washington Commanders. Going on over, man. Now this guy, man, some people won't agree with me, and that's cool. You ain't gotta agree with me, bro. Like, real talk, man. You don't have to agree with me, but you gotta respect me. But we go to Tampa, boy. And who we go get? I told y'all earlier, right? Chris Godwin Jr., dog. What y'all done forgot? Y'all done forgot about my dog, Chris Godwin Jr., dog? Y'all think I care about it? Says 0 fantasy points, dog? No, I don't care, dog. I feel like, look, people keep saying Mbuka and him are going to battle for position. No, I think they're going to use them in a dual threat situation and confuse people because they play fast there, bro. Baker Mayfield plays fast. The receivers play fast. The running backs play fast. They are a fast-paced team. They're one of the fastest-paced teams, I think, in the NFL. That's why it's kind of hard to beat them, right? Because they execute quickly. So the time is always, the games last a little bit longer if you notice, if you watch a Buccaneers game. I mean, it's great coaching if you ask me. Like, the whole, organization should be studied. Like, how they did Baker Mayfield and how he's out there shining, Apparently, they did some work with him, man. But they play the Eagles, and the Eagles are favored, of course. But I don't know, man. Like, Jalen Hurts inconsistent. You don't know, man. But we're not here to analyze the game. We're here to tell you that Chris Godwin Jr. is coming back. I might not trust him this week, but I would stash him for potential high ceiling in the near future. All right, let's go to see what the Seahawks talking about, man. Because, Torrey Horton is over there, man. And he's here, bro. He's arrived. He's made it, bro. He's here. He's arrived, man. Torrey Horton, 26.90 fantasy points, playing for Seattle, dog. Wide receiver, came out of nowhere, man. He's been pretty consistent. He's been a pretty consistent target of Sam Darnold. They don't really talk about him or nothing like that, but dude's been consistent. I've been looking at his numbers. He's one of those players people probably looking at me like, well, I don't know. I wouldn't get him, but I mean, desperate time calls for desperate measures. If you got deep leagues and you got keeper leagues where you got a lot of people and you need people stashed on your bench because you didn't pick right or whatever, Torrey Horton, man, why not? Why not take a chance on him, man? Who knows? Jackson Smith and the Jigba's there. It got to be a number 2. You know what I'm saying? I think he's emerging as a number 2. He's gradually growing every week. You know what I mean? So just look into that. All right, man. So over to Houston. Christian Kirk, man. Christian Kirk, 4 points, right? He just gave back. CJ Stroud, like, let's be honest, dog. Let's have an honest conversation, right? He's been struggling. He's been struggling like a son of a gun. And is it all his fault? Yeah. he's not making decisions, man. He's not like it's like he's out there confused or something. Like he's sad. Like I can hear sad music playing when I see him play, and it's unfortunate, man. I know somebody, you know, that told me if I have a defense that's like he literally said you can maintain yourself basically in the league, right? If you pick any defense that goes against CJ Stroud, you will eat. You will get monies. That's what he said. And I didn't even believe him. I was like, huh? It's week 3, bro. Let me look at the tape. Let me look at the next game. Let me really pay attention. I really paid attention to the next game, and dude was out there running for his life. He didn't know what to do. You know, he was confused. The run game didn't work because he couldn't pass. It's like they knew the other team knew they were gonna run it. You know what I'm saying? But the Texans play the Titans this weekend, and I think this is an opportunity for that boy Cam Ward to get his first win. Man, they've been they haven't been winning, right? But they've been consistent. Cam Ward's been consistent. It's just the game temperature is just not, game script ain't helping them at all, bro. So, but Christian Kirk, man, is one of those slot receivers. Also can play wide, dual threat. You feel me? Off of his injury, man, he's back, man. So maybe, just maybe, CJ Stroud, when he gets his flow going and gets his legendary status going back, like we know he is. We know he's legendary, young gunner, young dog, right? But he hasn't been showing that lately. But Christian Kirk, he always has the dog in him. Wide receivers keep their dog in them. You know what I'm saying? So maybe eventually they'll connect, and Christian Kirk will be one of those wide receiver twos, fringe, that you can count on. Okay, let's this guy right here, I'm impressed by him. This guy is like, I can't even believe the things he's doing, man. You know what I'm saying? For me, I don't pay attention to players like Tyquan Thornton, but I've been paying attention, and nowadays 33.60 points in 3 games. That lets you know when you have double digits and you're in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, you're not a quarterback, you know that person is, pretty reliable target to the quarterback. He eats in PPR leagues. You know what I mean? It's Tyquan Thornton. If you see him out there, go get him. People saying when Rashee Rice comes back that old people's stuff is going to drop. No, man. That's not how football works. When I hear that, I'm like, yeah, it might drop because he's an option. Yeah, but you can use the fact that people think that to your team's advantage, which always usually happens. But what do I know? You heard that first on the check down. Have you checked it out? Yeah. All right, but I don't have much to say about him, bro. He's not one of those people that, you would just throw in. You feel me? Like, you don't want to, you know what I'm saying? He's not one of those players you just want to throw in there, bro. He's one of those players that, you want to take your time, right? If you will, you want to take your time to see if he develops or whatnot, man. So, but like every week, we always have that individual that stands out, right? The individual on the waiver wire that people they're not looking at them. They're not really paying attention to them. They're not caring about it, right? They're like ignoring him on the waiver wire, and you know about it. You've heard the news, bro. You've heard the news, man. So my player of the week goes to, drum roll, Luther Burden III of the Chicago Bears. Yeah, I believe in him. I believe in Luther. I believe in Luther the Third because of a lot of reasons, but I think the main reason, that I believe in Luther the Third is simply because there's rumors, right, there's rumors that DJ Moore may be getting traded. And if DJ Moore gets traded, you do the math. You got Rome Odunze and you got Luther Burden III. They're both threats. They complement each other. Let's be real. We know that's where it's going. That's where it's headed. They don't need a third receiver. For what? They can go get a real running back next year. They're setting up, the Chicago Bears organization is finally setting up their team for victory instead of for failure. And with Luther Burden III, I feel like they have a chance to really build off of him and Rome and Caleb Williams. Swift and maybe the rookie, I can't, starts with an M. I can't pronounce his name. Maybe they will develop with these guys, but I'm pretty sure some trades are going to happen. They're going to have to play the kid, right, to either see will he fit in with whatever their scheme is going on down the line, down the future, or to put eyes on him in order to trade bait him to get maybe a veteran running back or a running back that's coming of age, if you will, you know what I mean? But Luther Burden has 19.50 fantasy points over a span of 3 weeks, man. 3 games. And to me, that's impressive simply because you got DJ Moore and Rome Odunze on there. And what really sold it for me had to be that flea flicker play that everyone saw. That flea flicker play was amazing, dude. Let's be serious, bro. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think anybody else has seen anything like it in a long time. A flea flicker that landed just so perfectly in that man's hands. You see what I'm saying? It just scoop. My man was running in stride, caught it in stride. You know what I'm saying? That's not something that's easy to do. People want to, skim over that, but yeah, that ain't easy to do, bro. That's hard to do, bro. You know what I'm saying? And he did that. He celebrated in the end zone, did his little dance, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, all right, the eyes on you, all eyes on you, you know what I'm saying? What I don't understand though, like I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man, is why these coaches don't put these players in a lot sooner, right? Let him develop with the team. Like, don't just, you know what I'm saying, put him in the game and then pull him out the game. Like, leave him in the game, bro. You know what I'm saying? If my player is doing stuff like that, I'm going to feed him. I know football is about opportunities, who's open or whatnot, but this guy here is amazing to me. Luther Burden III, go get him on your waiver wire. Whereas he's still sitting there. He's like 7% owned, man. I mean, if I were you, that's what I would do. And that brings me to my next point. I mean, because you don't want to play Luther Thornton immediately, right? Nah. You want to... And that's the first time that's ever happened in check down history, man. Not only did he get the stash of the week, he also got the player of the week. So that's a double whammy. It's 2 reasons why you should get him, man. Amazing player, man. Like I said, I'm really high on Luther Burden, the third poll. So pause. So, you know what I mean? I really, I feel like the Bears versus the Raiders is a perfect opportunity for my man to showcase his skill, to showcase, what he's capable of doing on a week-to-week basis. You know what I mean? So there you go, man. That's all of the pickups I feel like you guys should pick up, man. Like, go get these players. Don't just look at me. Stop looking at me. Pull out your phone. Go to your fantasy league. Look into your team. Find out what you need to do and why you need to do it. Now, disclosure. Do not blame me if you lose because you listen to me. Let me say this. Do not blame me if you lose because you're listening to me specifically. Now, my knowledge goes strictly based off what I see and what I know. Now, I'm not a, truth sayer. I don't know the future, right? Don't attack me. Don't send me threats. But here on Check Down, that's never happened because it never needs to happen. Because why? I'm always right. Check my last podcast, you'll see it. This is Spiderweb TV, man. And you're watching the Check Down. Have you checked it out? Out, out.